Okay, so I'm back now. Let's get back to your comments. Okay, so I spent most of my time on that, but now back to your comment. Okay, so we covered that about the name. We covered it about Joshua. We covered that, but that's why I referenced children who use the name Jesus. Okay. All right. As a teacher, and I don't know if you are a teacher or more, but we got to teach people the truth. People have more respect for you. They might be mad at you, but they have more respect if you tell them the truth. I'm going to tell the truth. If Jesus was not the Messiah's name, then let's stop calling him by that pagan bastardized name. Okay. Father could care less, as it's about love and the heart. No, it's not. No, it's not. The Father does care about the name. The Father talks about the people of Israel profaning his name. All right. Now, let's do that real quick. All right. He talks about his name being blasphemed. All right. This is Psalm 74:10. This is one verse that many people won't read. But, O Elohim, how long shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme thy name forever? See that? The enemy is the one that blasphemed the name. The Most High said he's going to take the names of Balaam out of their lips. Right? So the name is important. Right? It's somewhere it says where he's jealous, I think, for his name. Okay. That's Ezekiel 30:39 and 25. This is what the Messiah says. Therefore, thus says Yahweh. This is Adon Yahweh, the Master Yah. Now will I bring again the captivity of Yaakov, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my Kodesh name. So he is jealous for his name. So if the name doesn't matter, Mr. 100% Hebrew, if the name 110% spirit born Israel, if the name doesn't matter, why would the Most High say that he is jealous for his name, right? Why would he say that he will remove the names of Balaam out of their lips, right? They said, let's check this one out here. He said that they forgot his name. All right, let's look at this one. This is Jerimiah 23. He said, this is 23 and 26. Let me look at 25. Look at 25. Jeremiah 23:25. I have heard what the prophets said that prophesied lies in my name. This is what Hank Kuhneman did. Prophesied lies in my name. You got more faith in him than you got faith in the word of Yah. He said, the prophets said that prophesied lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, right? How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets? Hank Kuhneman is prophesying based off of Kim Clement's prophecy. And they all jumped on the bandwagon. I know some of them probably say, well, I never knew who Kim Clement was. Yes, you have. Somewhere along the line, you heard that man, because I remember when I was a kid, I was younger then, and he was on TBN, and he used to do the praise and worship with Israel Houghton, and they would come on there with the other guy. I'm trying to remember his name. Played the trumpet. What's that guy's name? So people say that I couldn't quite remember who he was until later on I researched. Oh yeah, I remember him now. Right. I never knew he was a well accepted prophet, but Hank Kunneman just basically jumped off of his prophecy. And every now and then they'll make mention of him, all of the so-called prophets of the day, they'll make mention of Kim Clement. But the Most High said, and let's get back, I don't want to get sidetracked. I heard what the prophet said that prophesied lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Yes, they are prophets of deceit of their own heart. Okay? It's about filthy lucre. That's what those brothers are doing. They're making merchandise out of you if you sending money to them because you believe in them. Because a person prophesies something or say something that comes to pass, people get hook, line, and sinker, and they become partners to that ministry because they said something that came to pass. Well, you might as well do the same thing to a palm reader. Palm readers can see things and speak things that come to pass. How do you think the palm readers, the magicians from Babylon found the Messiah? Right? They followed the star. They was involved in astrology. So the gifts work whether you are serving Yah or not. The thing is that people follow people because they prophesy something and come to pass. That's how people get made merchandise out of. I think Shaul makes mention of that in one of his letters. But which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. You see that? That's what people like Hank Kunneman, Kat Kerr, and Mario Murillo, and Kenneth Copeland, and Paula White, and all the rest of them. You can lump them all in one group. Okay? Jezebel was a prophetess. She prophesied and had the prophet scared of her. And the prophet Eliyahu, he went and sought the Most High. The Most High put the boldness in him, and he spoke the word and had all the prophets of Jezebel, the prophets of Baal slain at the Mount Carmel showdown. Right? But you an Israelite is based off of from our conversation, whether you are a physical descendant or whether you have embraced the covenant of Abraham, right? So if you have embraced the covenant of Abraham, then you have a responsibility, just like I do, to teach truth and not embrace falsehood and lies. There's plenty of people out here that have embraced this truth, and it's not based around color. You probably think I have hatred towards white people. No, I don't. I got white people in my family. They might not want to own me because they don't want nothing to do with black, but be that as it may. But the reality of the matter is that the biblical descendants were black people, period, point blank. All right. So as hard as that may be, until you accept the reality, you're going to fight and kick against everything that I say to you. And this video is going to be a waste to you. All right. Now, let me just say this. This will be my last video I do for you. OK, if you reject everything I say, I'm going to shake the dust off my feet and let the door hit you where Yah split you. All right. You can take it for what it's worth. I'm not going to go back and forth because the Messiah said, don't cast your pearls before the swine. So if you're rejecting what the Most High is bringing to you, I can't make you receive it. All right. I'm just doing what I'm required to do. I'm showing you as the Most High, according to a prophet. That's who I am. And I'm not a prophet that prophesied the future. I'm a prophet that proclaimed what the Most High says in his word to bring it to our current time. That's what a prophet is. Even what's the guy named Perry Stone acknowledged that. He plays games with it and tries to. But look, prophecy is supposed to line up with the word of the Most High, not based off what somebody see and conquered in their mind and said, this is what I see happening. That's supposed to be, that is a word of knowledge. And those things, sometimes people can be wrong with that. Okay. Sometimes you could be seeing things that you want to see because it's your passion. Right. And I think that's the case with Donald Trump. These people that prophesied that was their passion. Look at what's his name? What's the prophet name that apologized? Oh, man, I can't think of the guy's name, but I'll leave a link down there. He came and said that he missed the prophecy because he was following his own passion. There was another prophet that you've probably heard of. He said the same thing. He missed the prophecy because he saw the Most High had dethroned Donald Trump, but because everybody else was prophesying a second term, he jumped on the bandwagon. He testified it. I'll leave a link for him under the video too. Now I've been going over 10 minutes. I try to keep my videos down. I don't want to make it a lesson. I have a channel for lessons. All right. So that's what the Most High said. He said, they caused my people to forget my name by their dreams, and tell every man his neighbor as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. Okay. Now back to your comments. This comment, once again, if somebody sees this, this is not directly to you, but this is the comment to 110 Spirit Born Israel YHWH official, right? Now, so he goes on to say, okay, so, but that's why I reference children whose name, okay, the father could care less as it's about love and the heart. Yeah. And if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. He told Israel not to call on another name, not to mention the names of other deities. Okay. I'll give you a reference for that. Okay. All right. This is Exodus 23 and 13. It says, in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect and make no mention of the name of other deities, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. So that's how important it is to the Most High. He said, don't make no mention of other deities. Don't mention the name of other deities, neither let it be heard out of your mouth. So if you know the Most High's name is Yah and his son's name is Yahshua, don't call him on them other names. That's what he's saying. That's what matters to him. You think it's about me. It's not about me. It's about what the Most High said. If he said don't do it, then we are not to do it. If we follow him, the Messiah said, if you love me, keep my commandments. If every word that the Most High spoke, man shall not live by bread alone. So if the Most High says, then don't say this, then we don't say it because he said it, not me. It ain't about me. You don't have to listen to a thing I say. But you better listen to the Creator if you say you serve him. Right? All right. Now, where am I at? Being a good soldier isn't dependent upon me calling people of the Middle East Hamites. No, if you don't call the people, there's no such thing. You got to get this terminology. That's a strategy of the enemy. He's crafty to disassociate the real people of the book. You rename their land. That's what the Greeks have done. They renamed territories. The land of what we call Egypt was originally called Mizraim. So every time the Greeks and the Europeans went into territory, they renamed them. All right. So being a good soldier is dependent upon you call the Middle East Hamites. It's basically showing the ignorance. That's not what the soldier is. That's about using authority to take authority over demonic principles and powers, right? I called you a soldier because I want you to recognize that this is a warfare, okay? So, and being that it is warfare, and you basically said taking authority over demonic principalities. The demonic principality is embracing the doctrine and the false name. That's a spiritual wickedness. That's a great deception. The Messiah said, I come in my Father's name, but another shall come in his own name. All right. So that's spiritual warfare. You on point with that. But I do believe and agree with you about keeping the feast is done by someone more dedicated to what the scripture truly teaches. And upon careful inspection, one can see that many of the miracles done by Yeshua are tied to Hebrew feasts. I do think there is a New Testament wisdom in that. I didn't say the government authorities were right in combining the holidays with pagan holidays. They did it to limit the understanding and reasoning, and had reasons, albeit stupid reasons. No argument there. Yes, prophets can be accurate and still be false prophets. Okay. And again, I agree. People can use similar spirits and read people's mail. That's something that unfortunately most people don't get or see. Okay. We're in agreement. But brother, I am not even here to debate race in the Bible. That's not even the road I'm trying to travel. I want to see that that's fleshly viewpoint, not a spiritual viewpoint. It's not a fleshly viewpoint. It is a spiritual viewpoint because all the prophecies are tied to Israel. And if you don't know who Israel is, then doggone it, these prophecies are not going to make sense. When I was in the Christian church, Church of God in Christ, Word of Faith movement, eventually, 1948 confused me, because if the people that went back into Israel in 1948 is the biblical Israelites, then that made the prophecies off, because every prophecy about Israel talks about the people of Israel coming back to the land with the Messiah. It wasn't until it was revealed to me that I was an Israelite, and I can't be Israelite. I don't look like them. But the people that the world believes is Israel is not Israel. That's why people's prophecies is off. And every Christian that has their vision and their focus on Israel, they got the focus on the wrong people. And that's why the prophecies are wrong. That's why you keep thinking that Trump is supposed to repair America. It's not about America. It's about Israel. Okay. And when you recognize that the so-called blacks, African Americans, and Negroes are the biblical Israelites, period, then you can understand the prophecies. You understand why, because the Messiah said that Israel, according to Luke 21:24, will be led captive into all nations. And that Jerusalem will be trodden down by the Gentiles. Who are the Gentiles? The sons of Japheth. Who are the sons of Japheth? According to Genesis 10:5, they are the Europeans. The Gentiles. Romans 11 talks about the Gentiles. The Greeks, he calls them Gentiles. He doesn't call any descendant of Ham a Gentile. He doesn't call any descendant of Shem a Gentile. But the sons of Japheth are called the Gentiles, which includes the Ashkenazi Jews. It includes the Greeks. It includes the Romans. It includes the English-speaking people, the London, England, UK. Every European is a Gentile. That's the book. All right. Now, just for your sake, so you can see it. All right. Look at Genesis 10:2. All right. Genesis 10:5. If you look at 2, it says the sons of Japheth are Gomer, Magog, Madai, Yavan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tyrus. The sons of Gomer are Ashkenaz, Riphath, Togarmah. The sons of Yavan are Lisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided. So there goes your Gentiles. Your Gentiles are the sons of Japheth, which includes Gomer and Ashkenazi Jews. So when you understand that they are Gentiles, and you understand that the Messiah said that Jerusalem will be trod down by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles fulfilled, 1948 is still a continuation. It's actually a fulfillment of the prophecy that the Messiah said in Matthew's or in Luke 21:24, where he said Israel will be led captive into all nations, right? Let me show it to you just so you can see. All right. When you have a blinder on your eyes, you think that this is about color. It's not about color. The reason why I point out the color is so you can identify that the people of Israel are certain people and they look a certain way. That's how you know to look, where to look, Israel. When you go through Deuteronomy 28, where he talks about the very last verse, said that Israel would go back into Egypt in ships and sold as male and female slaves. All right. So all of that is basically pointing to who real Israel is. And when you understand that, then you'll stop kicking against me and you'll thank the Most High for opening your eyes. And then you'll pray for true Israel. Like this brother Dana Stevens channel, who I'll leave a link down in the description too. He's a Gentile, but he acknowledges who true Israel is. Until you understand who Israel is, you're going to continue to kick at me. You can continue to kick at anything that you read, right? Because you won't have a clear understanding of the word of the Most High. All right. So the Most High said in Luke 21:24, the Messiah, I should say, said 24, they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. See that? So he said they shall be led captive into all nations. Who was led captive? Who has a history? I don't care where you go in the world. You ask what people was led as slaves into the four corners, and they'll tell you the African slaves. That's a fulfillment of Luke 21:24, which is also a fulfillment which I quoted and I showed to you on the screen so you can see it. Deuteronomy 28 and the last verse 68. He says, Yah shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, and by the way there whereof I spoke, thou shalt see it no more, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Okay. Now, so that's what happened, right? Israel was scattered. The buying is talking about delivering or setting them free from the captivity. No reparations. Okay. That's what that's talking about. If you look at the word in the Hebrew, okay, in case you get stuck on that. See, people bought the African slaves. No, the buying is kana, which means to procure, right? To rescue, right? It was inevitable for Israel to go into slavery, right? Now, let me get back to your comments. I'm not even here to debate race in the Bible. So you should want to debate who the true Israelites is so you can know and pray for the evil oppression that the blind Israelites. I mean, I don't live in the hood. I live in an urban rural area. I grew up in a rural area. But when I go to the inner city and see how the Israelites live, it's disgusting. And a lot of them don't even see how disgusting it is to live in the inner city. It's like a jungle. But that's a curse on the people. That's Deuteronomy 28:15 through 68 talks about all the curse. Curse in the city, curse in the field, right? Okay, now, so yes, prophets can be accurate and still be false prophets. Okay, I read that part already. Now you go back and say prophecy is done by having a strong enough relationship with Yah and and that he is willing to speak to you as a friend. I don't know about that. I don't know about the Most High. The Most High ain't looking for no friend. He's looking for somebody to follow, obey him. You become a friend when you obey, but he don't need no friend from a person. That isn't dependent on keeping the feast. It's dependent on love. And love is dependent on what? Obedience. You say you love your wife and you out running the streets with every female you see, that ain't love. You make a vow to your wife and say, I love you. I'm going to cherish you. You know, I'm going to cleave only to you, or whatever they say. I don't know what to say nowadays. They change the confessions now. But you don't come home at night. You go to the hotel, get your little girlfriend or whatever on the side, or you have your bunch of girlfriends, right? But you say, oh, I love you, honey. She said, if you love me, then you would obey. You would obey your covenant that you made with me. That's what love is. Love is obeying the covenant. Trust me, I know that better than I will ever convey to you, because he does it with me and I don't keep the feast. Okay. When you go to Deuteronomy chapter 30, that's a prophecy. So keeping the feast days and it's actually observing the days, because we're not keeping the feast days because the sacrifices are accompanied with the feast days. So we memorialize the days. So I would pray about that, because that basically is a fulfillment of prophecy that said that Israel will return to the covenant. So when we acknowledge the days that the Most High said was his days, they're not our days, they're not Israel's days, they're his days. And Leviticus 23 said, these are my feast days, right? So if they're his feast days, then we ought to want to memorial, just like we memorialize today. This is the memorializing the birthday of Martin Luther King, right? So it's just basically paying honor and respect, memorializing the day that the Most High gave in Leviticus 23. A prophet is going to have a deeper love relationship with, okay, and how do you have that deeper relationship? By being in covenant, meaning that we do what he says do. We love him and we keep his commandments, right? That you can find that in, I think, in John. I think that's 1 John. He said, or you can go at Deuteronomy 5 and 10. I'll point that out here. Deuteronomy 5 and 10 says, showing mercy to thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. So loving him is keeping his commandments. Exodus 20 and 6 says the same thing. Showing mercy to thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Okay, Deuteronomy 7 and 9. Knowing therefore that Yah thy Elohim, he is Elohim, the faithful Elohim, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations. So love is not measured by emotions or feelings, but love is measured by what? Action. Yaakov, who you probably know as James, says that faith without works is dead. So if you say you have faith, and your faith is in the Messiah, but you don't obey everything he says to obey, then do you really love him, or do you have a emotional connection? And many people just have an emotional connection, right? So now we go over to Deuteronomy 11 and 1. He says it again. Therefore thou shalt love Yah and keep his charge, his statutes, his judgments, and his commandments always. Okay. Now we can go all day long. I mean, let me just show you. I put this up on the screen. This is my search engine. Look at all these times we see love in here. Look at that. So you got Deuteronomy 19. If thou shalt keep all these commandments to do them, which I command thee this day, to love Yah and to walk ever in his ways, then shalt thou add these cities more for thee besides these three. All right, Deuteronomy 30:16. In that I command thee this day to love Yah, to walk in his ways and keep his commandments and his statutes. That's Deuteronomy 30, what I quoted about Israel in the lands of captivity will return to the covenant. I was in the Christian church. I wasn't taught about keeping the Sabbath day. I wasn't taught about keeping his commandments, his laws, his statutes. I was taught you under grace. We're in a new covenant. We're not in a new covenant. We ain't there yet. All right. I have a lesson on that too. Now, Joshua 22:5 says, keep his commandments and cleave unto him and serve him with all your heart. Daniel 9:4 says, to them that love him and keep his commandments. John 14:15. If you love me, keep my commandments. Right? John 15:10. If you keep my commandments, you abide in my love, and even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. 1 John 5:2. By this we know that we love the children of Elohim, when we love Elohim and keep his commandments. 1 John 5:3. For this is love of Elohim, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. So a true prophet is going to love the Most High and keep his commandments. That's how your love is measured. So when you don't keep the feast days and you don't keep the laws and statutes and commandments, you're basically saying you don't love him. We'll make excuses. All right. On a Halloween Sunday, let's see, I done gone 30 minutes. On a Halloween Sunday, then average believer is going to have on Pesach, but you have set yourself up as a Hank Hooneman's judge. We're all supposed to judge. All prophecy is supposed to be judged, right? That's what Shaul said. Shaul said to judge. Let two prophet. I think he said let two prophesy. I think that's Corinthians. Okay. Hold on a second. I'm gonna pull it up for you. At 1 Corinthians 14. All right. He says, let the prophet speak 2 or 3 and let the other judge. So we judge the prophecies. Okay. And if the prophecies don't come to pass, then we let the prophet know according to the Most High. If that which you prophesy don't come to pass, then what? He says, don't fear that prophet. Because they prophesied presumptuously. All right. And I think that's in Deuteronomy 19. I think it is. Okay. Is that Deuteronomy 19? Or is it 18? It's 18. Deuteronomy 18. When a prophet speak in the name of Yah, if the thing follow not nor come to pass, that is the thing which Yah have not spoken. But that prophet has spoken presumptuously. Thou shalt not be afraid of him. So that's all we're saying. We judge the prophecy. If the prophecy has failed, have proven to be false, then it was not of Yah. It was what the person spoke presumptuously. And that's what all these prophets, these so-called prophets have done. They spoke presumptuously. Okay? And that's all we're saying. All right? We're supposed to judge these prophecies, not accept them because they have a track record. Okay? What did the Messiah do to Satan when Satan quoted the word? He told him, get behind me, Satan. Okay. Told him it is written. All right. Now, because Trump versus Biden has absolutely nothing to do with race whatsoever. That's what mainstream media programmed you to believe. Mainstream media don't have nothing to do with me and my view, brother. I've been in the Word of Faith church. I personally witnessed being treated like I was a second class. I was a pastor and I brought a whole busload of people and I was treated like I was a nobody. And I said to them, I'm a pastor. And I'm not going to mention the ministry where I went to the conference because, you know, if you know I was in the Word of Faith, then you know what circle I was in. And it was a renowned white televangelist. And they pointed for me to sit in the back and said, these seats are for partners. I came in with my pastor's clothes on and with my Bible in my hand, with my walk of confidence, and they told me that I was not a partner. I said, I am a partner. And finally, somebody who knew me said he's a partner and a pastor, and they put me on the second row, not the first row. So that's just one experience. I was a part of this thing called March for Jesus many years ago. They wouldn't let me preach. They would let me play the music. I'm a musician. I'm a bad boy on keyboard, if you might say so. Dr. Magnus Clark was my minister of music. He taught me how to have confidence in my playing. She said, don't tell, if somebody asks you, can you play? Tell them I'm a bad boy. So I could play. I was really good. All right. And I'm not being arrogant or braggadocious. I'm just speaking of fact. So when you're confident, sometimes people mistake confidence for arrogance. All right. So be that as it may. All right. So you said, how long have I gone? 35 minutes. This is longer than I wanted to be to. All right. So, but as for it stands, Hank has proven prophetic track record. Oh, let me go back. I don't want Biden for reasons YouTube censors, and they are biblical reasons. Okay. If your biblical reasons to want Trump has something to do with the two issues, abortion and same-sex marriages, then you woefully deceived, because the Republican Party have same-sex marriages and they have people that practice abortion. They're not going to come out and tell it. All right. Trump can't stop the people in his party if they are for it. One of the primary leaders that was Stop the Steal, he is a professing homosexual and Christian. All right. This sister named Bevelyn Beatty was upset. She did a video about him because she was not going to go to the Stop the Steal rally on the 6th that turned out to be a mob storming the Capitol. She wasn't going to go because he was one of the people there was responsible for the Stop the Steal rally. And he has a YouTube channel, and he professes that he is a gay, same gender loving Christian. And he's a Republican for Trump. So if that's the reason why you won't vote for Biden because of those two issues, Trump is not not remembering the Sabbath day, the seventh day. Does he remember the first day either? Probably not. He probably won't even go to church unless he's invited for political reasoning to make a point, but no. So you said I won't vote for Biden for reasons YouTube censors, and there are biblical reasons. So I set my faith and hope and have a better leader. But if that doesn't happen and makes Hank Kuhlman false, that doesn't change my relationship with Yah. Well, you said the truth right there. But see, here's the thing. Your faith should not be in Biden, Trump, or any of them. Every man, the Most High said, every man will die for his own sins, right? So you could vote for somebody because you think that they believe in this, but you don't know what's in their heart. You don't know what they sign when they get behind those closed doors and they sign executive orders and so forth. You know what you thought. You know what they said publicly, but you don't know what they did when they put their hands down on that paper, right? And they can easily blame it on the committee and say, well, they committee voted and I had to just sign because I'm the president. So we can't use that. All right. Trump is not our savior. Biden's not our savior. Any other president, vice president that comes into this government is not the savior. There's only one savior. His name is Yahshua. Okay. So if you voted for Biden or Trump, that don't make you a sinner because you voted for people sacrificing to Molech. That's that QAnon conspiracy nonsense. So like Republicans, there was no Republicans. Republicans never did any abortions. Is that what you're telling me? All right. So we can't go through that. I mean, you vote for whoever you choose, who you feel is right based on your rights. And that's all you can do. Okay. So that's your right to do so. But as it stands, Hank has proven a prophetic track record and isn't a white supremacist. I don't know his heart. I can't say he's a white supremacist. I know that the white evangelical Christian doctrine is based in racism. That's proved. And I'll leave a link for that, where there's tons and tons of links. I left it on one of my other videos I did. There's tons and tons of videos showing the people that were white evangelicals acknowledging that fact. Okay. I don't know the man's heart. I don't know if the man's a white supremacist or not. All right. Can Hank make false prophecy? Absolutely. Yeah, we all prophesy in part, but listen, here's the difference between prophesying and saying that the Most High said. See, when you prophesy and you say, let me see if I can come on the screen full throttle. Hold on a second. I'm gonna come on the screen full throttle. Okay. So when you say that the Most High said, that's what I'm talking about. When you say the Most High said, you lying on the Most High. Now, it's okay to say, I believe, that Trump's going to get 4 more years or whatever you think that I perceive, or even, and you want to be very careful. You can say, I believe the Most High. I believe, that's the key. I believe the Most High put in my heart. Okay. Now your belief could be wrong. So you're safe. But when you say the Most High said, oh man. Or when you project your voice like you're the Most High, I will come upon this earth and I will do. You saying the Most High saying it through you. Oh my mercy. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. And most Christian so-called prophets are known for doing that. When I was a kid, we used to do it. As a matter of fact, they taught us how to do that. I used to get up in the church, thus saith the Lord. Was it him? Or was I trained to do that and to make people believe that the Most High is using my vocal cords to speak? That's the dangers of this thing. That's all I'm saying. So if you saying that the Most High said it, or if you are vocalizing your voice as if you are the voice of the Most High and it don't come to pass, I'm hard on people like that. I'll call you a false prophet in a second. And in Israel, the grounds for false prophet, people lying on the name of the Most High, what did Shaul in the New Testament? Somebody lied. Who was that? Was that Aquila, Priscilla? Who was that? That lied about the money. And they were struck dead. You don't lie on the Most High. You get struck dead. Okay? So that's where you got to be very careful when you say the Most High told you. Right? And that's where I stand. So this is my last video I'm going to do on this subject. Now, if you disagree with everything I shared in the video, then like I said, I'm going to just shake the dust off my feet, because I'm not going to go back and forth. I can't make anybody receive nothing. You have to, the Most High has to touch your heart and open up your eyes to see. I can't do it, and I'm not going to try. But I do try to respond to questions when people have questions and comments. And when people get lengthy and long-winded with comments, sometimes it's easier for me just to talk at lib and just deal with it and be done with it. So with that said, prayerfully, you got something out of what I had to share. Shalom.